Hey dads, welcome to Father Friend, a podcast for dads who want to lean in, lead well, and love big. I'm Dr. Mike Ayers. Hey dads, just a quick word about what's coming up. Starting September 8th, the Father Friend podcast will begin releasing a special once-a-month interview series with incredible guests to talk all things fatherhood. Our very first guest is New York Times bestselling author Mark Cameron. You probably know Mark from his work as the author of 7 Tom Clancy novels, as well as his own best-selling series. His latest book in the Arliss Cutter line, Deadline, is out right now. Mark joins me for a powerful conversation, not just about his writing, but about what fatherhood has meant in his own life. It's honest, it's encouraging, and you won't want to miss it. But for now, we're continuing our Summer Vibes podcast, shorter episodes, briefer wisdom. This will continue through the end of August, and then we'll be back to our normal 20 to 25-minute segments. Today, let's discuss passing on an authentic faith to our kids. Starting at age 5 or 6, my middle son, Brandon, loved going to Home Depot with me. There's something about hardware, tools, and equipment that sparks interest, especially in boys. I'd let him sit on the riding mowers and handle tools while I explained what they did. One day, I was just walking ahead of him, strolling down an aisle, taking my time with my hands clasped behind my back. When I looked over my shoulder, there was Brandon walking the exact same way, hands behind his back, matching my stride. It was a great reminder. They're watching, and they're mirroring us. This kind of mirroring is paramount when it comes to spiritual legacy, the impact that you make upon your child about God. Parenting is an ongoing, sometimes messy journey. In the chaos of daily life, it's easy to get caught up in the frustrations and lose sight of the bigger picture. But as a dad, you've got to remember you're shaping your child's future, not just in the short term, but for a lifetime. You're not here just to survive the days, but to shape the years. The faith and values you instill in them now will have a lasting impact and is potentially the greatest gift you give them in life. But how can we intentionally pass down our faith in a way that sticks? First, let me share some non-negotiables about your influence to your children, what you must know. Number 1, your influence is more certain than conditional. Here's the truth. You will impact your child. It's not a question of whether, but how. Through your words, actions, and the way you live. Your influence is unavoidable. The question isn't whether you'll shape your child's faith, but whether you'll do it by design or by default. Will you be intentional about passing down your faith, or will you let life do that by chance? Number 2, your influence is more caught than taught. A common misconception is that faith is passed down in a structured, formal way, in the talk. But in reality, values, especially spiritual ones, are caught more than taught. Children learn far more from how you live than from what you say or teach. Your actions, your priorities, and the way you handle life's ups and downs speak louder than any sermon. Your kids will remember how you treated others, how you dealt with stress, and how you modeled love for God, not necessarily the specific Bible verses or lessons you shared. If your actions don't align with your words, the lessons you're trying to teach won't stick. And third, your influence is more long-term than short-lived. Raising children is like planting seeds. You don't always see the immediate results, and sometimes it feels like you're putting in effort without any tangible payoff. But keep in mind, the dividends will come. The faith you instill today might not show up tomorrow, but over time, it will grow. Just as plants need time to mature, so too does the faith you nurture in your kids. Keep making those deposits, even when you don't see the fruit right away. Trust that the return is certain, even if it's long-term. Remember, the last thing to grow on a tree is its fruit. One of the most important scriptures for passing down faith is the Shema from Deuteronomy 6, 4 through 9. This passage is one of the cornerstones of Israel's faith and calls parents to impress faith upon their children, making it a natural part of daily life. Shema means to hear or listen in Hebrew. Here's the passage. Hear, O Israel, the Lord our God, the Lord is one. Love the Lord your God with all your heart, with all your soul, with all your strength. These commandments that I give to you today are to be on your hearts. Impress them on your children. Talk about them when you sit at home and when you walk along the road, when you lie down and when you get up. Some people read this and think that faith is about force-feeding your children. always preaching, always teaching. But that misses the point. Notice instead how faith is woven into the fabric of everyday life. When you sit at home, it says, when you walk along the road, when you lie down, when you get up. It's not about scheduled moments of teaching. It's about constantly pointing to God throughout all of life's experiences. As life happens, there are natural and organic opportunities to teach faith by how we live. That's authentic faith, and it's the kind that will inspire your children. So here are some practical steps for how dads can pass down authentic faith to their kids. First, set expectations for a life well lived. Every child has great potential. As a father, it's your role to help them recognize it. Set the bar high, but offer grace. Teach your kids that life isn't primarily about achieving material success. There's nothing wrong with achievement, but in the end, it can disappoint. Instead, fulfillment comes by living with integrity, love, and purpose. The world will tell you otherwise, but it's your job to model a life rooted in faith and eternal values. Secondly, have an authentic faith yourself. It's really impossible to give your children what you do not possess yourself. Deuteronomy 6 says, "Have these commandments on your heart, and then you impress them upon your children." So the most effective way to pass on your faith is by living it authentically. Kids can spot a fake a mile away. If you want your children to love God, practice what you preach. Live with honesty, humility, and integrity. That's not about perfectionism, but it's about modeling the message. Model the behaviors and attitudes that reflect a genuine faith. Your example will speak volumes more than any lecture or church attendance ever will. Number 3, help them interpret failure. This is really important. Failure is inevitable, but it's also an opportunity for grace and truth. Religion can often turn into piety and legalism. Spiritual dysfunction, that is, an inaccurate picture of who God is one of the worst things for children to receive. Don't let the caricature of God as the cosmic policeman seep into your faith or into your child's faith. No one is perfect, and the goal of faith is not perfection, but grace and forgiveness. Fourth thing, pray for your children daily. But more than that, pray with your children daily. And when you do, ask God to guide them, protect their hearts, and grow their faith. Ask God to be with them in the very real moments that they're facing each and every day. Prayer is one of the most powerful ways you can shape their spiritual journey. Pray for your kids. Pray with your kids. Even when you're not around, pray for them. Never underestimate the power of a father's prayer. Abraham Lincoln said, "I remember my mother's prayers, and they have always followed me." Man, the power of a praying parent cannot be overstated. So your child's understanding of God is not shaped primarily by Bible stories or church attendance. It's shaped by you. Long before they can grasp who God is with their mind, they begin to feel who He is through the way you love them. And whether you realize it or not, your presence becomes their first glimpse of what God's presence feels like. Your consistency models His faithfulness. Your tenderness reflects His compassion. Your strength reveals His protection. Your fairness communicates His justice. And your joy and affection make it easier for them to believe that God is good. You don't need to be flawless, but you do need to be steadily growing into the likeness of the God you want your child to trust. The more your life echoes His character, the more naturally your child will come to form an authentic and trustworthy picture of their Father in heaven. So what does God look like to your child? Well, He looks a lot like you. Thanks for listening today. I'm Dr. Mike Ayers. If you enjoyed this podcast, please share it with other dads. I'd love to hear from you. Email me at mikea@fatherfriend.net with comments, questions, and your biggest takeaways. For more tools, resources, and real talk on fatherhood, visit fatherfriend.net or follow on social media @ThinkingDads. See you next time.